Good morning. My name is Owain and I work for Oxford Vaccine Group. I'm here to introduce you to the Vaccine Knowledge Project. This is a new initiative run by OVG and funded by the Oxford Biomedical Research Centre and the Oxford Martin School. We have built a new website designed specifically for parents making decisions about their child's vaccinations. The internet is full of information, some of it good, some less good, and some deliberately misleading. We present independent and authoritative scientific information in a format that makes it accessible to everyone. The site is updated regularly to reflect the latest developments, and all medical content is reviewed by Professor Andrew Pollard. Key features of our site include pages dedicated to answering parents' questions and concerns about vaccination, simple access to information on the vaccines offered free on the NHS, a news column with all the latest stories about vaccines, and a growing series of short films about the impact of infectious diseases. That all sounds great, you might say, but do we really need another vaccine information site? What's wrong with the NHS Choices website, for example? Well, there's lots that's very good about it, but it's not perfect. One of the main vaccine stories of 2012 was the whooping cough epidemic and the launch of the pertussis vaccination programme for pregnant women. For anxious women to make an informed decision about this vaccine, they needed to fully understand the seriousness of the epidemic, which killed 13 young babies last year. But for most of December, the NHS Choices website featured a figure for the total number of cases during the year so far that was wrong by a factor of 5. 1,614 instead of 7,728. In fact, 1,614 is the figure for the month of October alone. I contacted the NHS Choices team as soon as I noticed the error. It took them 3 weeks to make this simple correction. How many people read this page and underestimated the seriousness of the threat to their baby during this time? Another important recent story was the news of the plan to introduce a rotavirus vaccine into the UK schedule later this year. Again, there was a problem with the clarity of the information available to the public. Initially, our site quoted information from the HPA that almost every child will have had a rotavirus infection by the age of 5, and from the Department of Health that rotavirus causes around 140,000 diarrhoea cases a year in the under 5s. I was emailed by someone referring to these two pieces of information. He pointed out that there are around 736,000 babies are born in the UK each year, and asked, if rotavirus affects almost every child by the age of 5, how can there only be 140,000 cases? We realised that the confusion arose from the definition of the word case, since it's not clear if this means all those who get it, or just those seen by a doctor. It is true to say that rotavirus affects almost every child by the age of 5, but the majority are not sick enough to require medical attention. Using the latest rotavirus incidence study data, we were able to add the following information to our site. Rotavirus affects almost every child by the age of 5. Each year in the UK, 110,000 children under the age of 5 are unwell enough with rotavirus to require being seen by their GP, while 36,000 are taken to A&E. Of these, nearly 18,000 are admitted to hospital, normally because of severe dehydration. This process took less than 36 hours from the initial contact to the updating of the website. So accurate data and an ability to update or correct things very quickly are clearly important. But accurate data might not be enough. It's often suggested that those who do not vaccinate their children are ignorant or misinformed, and that if they could only be presented with the correct information in a clear form, they would inevitably change their views. A recent American study makes alarming reading for anyone who thinks this. A simple multiple-choice quiz was given to parents of young children around the time that their immunisations were due. The questions covered topics such as what diseases the vaccines gave protection against, and what the possible side effects might be. On average, parents whose children have received all their vaccines at the recommended time scored 4 out of 10. Those who had refused all the vaccinations scored 5.5 out of 10. And those who had delayed or refused certain vaccines scored the highest, with 9 out of 10. So there's more to it than just more and better information. What can we learn from looking at existing sources of information, and just how effective are the existing vaccine information websites? A recent German study compared the effect of viewing two different websites. One, a government pro-vaccination site, the other, an anti-vaccine site. They looked at how the sites changed parents' perceptions of the risks of vaccinating, their perceptions of the risks of not vaccinating, and how strong their intention to vaccinate was. On the right-hand side, we can see that the anti-vaccine website was extremely effective, managing to raise the perceived risk of vaccinating and lower the perceived risk of not vaccinating, with the overall result of reducing the intention to vaccinate. On the other hand, on the left, we can see that the official pro-vaccination site is doing a good job of convincing people that vaccines are safe, but has made hardly any impression on people's views of infectious diseases, and therefore only increased the intention to vaccinate very slightly. Most of the infectious diseases for which we have routine vaccines are now rare as a direct result of the vaccines, and you could say that vaccination is a victim of its own success. Many people do not now view diseases such as measles as a serious danger, and that is why the series of videos we are making about the impact of infectious diseases and the way they can destroy lives and cause horrible lasting damage is such an important part of our project. And we're extremely grateful to the Oxford Martin School for providing funds to make these films possible, to the charities who have put us in contact with their members who have then been willing to talk to us, and to Joe Elliott from Moving Target Films for producing them for us. And we're going to see 2 more of the films later on today. We want to reach as many people as we can with this project, and we'd love you to get involved in order to help us. So please have a look at the website and do send us any comments you might have via email. You'll find in your packs you have a flyer with details of the project. Put these up on notice boards where you work, and if you want more copies to hand out to parents, then just email me and I'll send you some out. You can keep up to date with all the latest news on vaccines and infectious diseases by following us on Twitter at OVG_OpenMinds. And finally, we'd really welcome your input on our blog, the Open Minds blog, and we'd really love this to become a forum for lively and informed debate about vaccines. Thank you very much for listening.